Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a scored review for the game Mega Man Legacy Collection Mega Man 4. Now, in this is part of a bundle of 6 of the classic 6 NES Mega Man games, and I'm going to be reviewing each of these games individually, along with the challenges individually, which is 6 Mega Man games, 6 Rockman games, and the challenges. So there's a lot of content in this game. Now, this particular one I'm going to be doing, I think I already said it, was Mega Man 4 on this collection. It was initially Mega Man 4 was developed and published by Capcom, but this particular iteration was published by Digital Eclipse, and developed by Digital Eclipse and published by Capcom. My brain is completely turned off today, apparently. So, in this particular game, it's also an action platformer, 2D action platformer. So, I score a game in 5 different categories, which is story, graphics, music and sound effects, gameplay and gameplay and controls, and achievements. Now, story. This game actually has more story than the previous 3 Mega Man games, so, that's a plus. And you got an intro, like a mid-game cutscene, and then an ending. So compared to the other ones, this one's got a lot of story. Now for the graphics, this game doesn't really break the mold in terms of graphics, because I think this is the point in the Mega Man series where really there wasn't anything more they could add graphically, so everything still looks NES-ish, and the backgrounds and the vistas and stuff like that all look phenomenal for the time that they had originally came out. And Digital Eclipse did a great job of smoothing out the screen as they did with the previous one. So for music and sound effects, this is one of the things. For music and sound effects, this is one of those categories where Capcom always outdoes themselves. Now, as you hear the music in the background, it's very upbeat, like you're about to save the day and stuff like that, which this is the final stage of the game. So that's to be understandable, but each stage had it had great music. So, I really enjoyed the music from this one. And the sound effects, as per the usual, the iconic sound effects of Mega Man: run, jump, shoot. Oh wait, that's right, sliding doesn't have the sound effects, but, and each weapon, of course, and ability has their own sound effects as well, so that's one thing that they've kept to with the Mega Man games, was having an excellent soundtrack and good sound effects for their games. Now for the gameplay and mechanics, this game adds one new mechanic or gameplay feature, which is the Mega Buster, and then another mechanic that they added was, on top of having the rush that was became available in the 3rd game, they also incorporated the ability to get additional power-ups that are hidden in stages. So it's not the first game that's done hidden power-ups in the stages. They did it in the first Mega Man game, but in the first Mega Man game you could clearly see it as you were going through the stage. These 2 abilities were off of the beaten path, so you actually had to look for them. So if you followed my walkthrough, I showed you where they were in each stage. Wire was in Dive Man and Balloon was in Pharaoh Man. Now, this game also still continues to have the E-Tanks, which is a nice bonus. They're really useful for those who are trying to get used to the game, and it gives you a bit more leniency for when it comes to fighting bosses or getting through stages. And each of the powers, for the most part, have uses. Like if you need to get through an area where enemies constantly appear on screen when you gotta make difficult jumps, you know, Bright Man can stop Bright Flash can stop everything. Toad Man's basically like, if it dies in one hit, it'll screen wipe the screen. Drill Bomber is meant for dealing with tougher enemies and or breakable walls. The Pharaoh Shot, you know, that's just good all-around weapon. Ring Boomerang, good all-around weapon. Dust Crusher, good all-around weapon. Dive Man's dive missile, he homes in on targets around. And Skull Barrier is a good defensive skill. So compared to the other ones, almost all these abilities are useful in their own right. And then Rush Coils for getting higher, and Marines for moving around underwater, Jets for, you know, avoiding areas that you can't get around. Now, that's one thing I did enjoy about this one versus 3 was Rush Coil, Marine, Jet, even though you unlock them in normal stages, weren't necessary in the Wily stages. But the Rush Coil, if you were trying to get stuff, would be used in it, but I had Wire and Blue, which allows you to skip most of what you need Rush Coil for. So the Wire skill was a unique one. As far as I'm aware, there's never been anything like this in a Mega Man game before, and I actually found it to be useful in the times when I was playing around with it. And Balloon is, if you've played Mega Man 2, I think this was like the equivalent of item number 1, where you just make a floating platform. It moves a little bit faster, I do believe. And now for the controls, this game, as with all the other Mega Mans, is very smooth with the movement. Everything's pretty precise, responsive. It doesn't have that lag input like 3 did for some off-the-wall reason. Sliding's back, of course, and then the Mega Buster is just simply holding down the charge button. So, all in all, the controls are nice and smooth, and the gameplay is good. Now, for the achievements, this, like the other previous Mega Man games, only have 2 achievements. The first one beating just for beating this game, which is easy and on its own, and the second achievement is for beating all 6 games on a single save file, which after this game, this puts me at 4 now. So the achievements for this game aren't hard. Now, I regularly score a game 5 out of 10 for average, instead of the industry standard of 7 or 8. And with this game's pretty decent story, a nice pixel looking graphic style, if you're into that, they're great. The music and sound effects are phenomenal. The gameplay and controls with the mechanics and stuff like that add a little bit more to the game, so you know that's good as well. And the achievement being easy to get. Now, one thing I complained about on the 3 review was not present in this one. There was a dedicated boss order that was not broken up. So if you started with a boss and you beat him, you could do a whole circle of the 8 robot masters without having to go back to your buster, which is a plus. So, this particular Mega Man 4 on the Mega Man Legacy Collection, I give it an 8 out of 10. I had a blast with this game. It was fun to go back to it, and I remember it being harder, and me originally not liking it as much as 2, but I did like this one as much as 2, now that I stop and think about it. So 8 out of 10, I'll see you guys in the next scored review, and with all things gaming, game logic, am I right?